Dear USA, all nations, and 7.9 plus billions of humans, I just want to have this as a generic civil justice sign off. Whatever I want for the civil justice, for I am displaying the USA government errors, public sector errors, private sector errors, and how USA government operations got destroyed, and for displaying the Absolute-Monarchs scandal. I, Vethapriya PROSE, wanted these civil justice to be provided to me. Okay, so I'll just read the sign off so that it will be in all these other sessions. Okay, so for I, Vethapriya PROSE, native Indian tribe, Christian Jew of Israel, Judah, Jerusalem, and true owner of USA, and proved USA is Tamil Nadu, and I, Vethapriya PROSE, have highest impasse eligibility to lead USA. I must be the interim leader of USA now is civil justice served. And for I, Vethapriya PROSE, displayed USA government errors and the scandal of Absolute-Monarchs to USA government. I, Vethapriya PROSE, for civil justice as in Holy Bible guidelines. I, Vethapriya PROSE, want United States of America nation to rename Lord Ripon Building in Tamil Nadu, India, after my name, Vethapriya, is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, to become the Vatican leader now is civil justice served. And Pope Francis resigns abruptly now is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, become Supreme Chief Civil Judge for all nations, now is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, become Supreme Chief Family Law and Supreme Chief Children Judge for all nations is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, to become Global Poverty Relief Medical Director Chief for all nations, to lead and guide World Bank, United Nations organizations, World Health Organizations, Center for Disease Control, Department of Children Families, Department of Health Services, Department of Justice, Department of Revenue, Department of Agriculture, Department of Imports Export, Department of Military in all nations across the globe is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, to be the ambassador for all nations, starting with India, and I, Vethapriya PROSE, should get dual citizenship of USA and India now is civil justice served. And thank you all for your time. Take care, my dear fellow mankind. I sure will get civil justice for entire human kingdom in 1 minute. Thank you all for your time. Bye for now. USA, all nations and 7.9 plus billions of humans. I hope we are all on the same page on this regard that I'm providing very, very crucial, very, very important civil justice sign off for myself. And it's a multitasking is the wisdom. With that said, what exactly is this civil justice sign off? Yes, it is all another deadliest crime display only. But then what is this civil justice all about? So earlier session I provided what happens after the credit card or debit card or gift card is swiped on their systems, like be it in cash counters or ATMs or wherever. Then I already said what are the behind the scenes lot of logics is worked on, right? It's a lot of tasks. But then there is another very, very important core of this entire transaction life cycle. This particular transaction processing is very important. Without this processing, there is no finance, there is no any transactions. Got it? So this all happens in that few seconds when you are in the cash counter. So all the civilians do not know what exactly these things are going on, isn't it? So that's why they provide all this fooling to the people. Not anymore, because I'm educating the population, the public, what exactly is going on behind the scenes the moment when they are going to swipe their credit card or debit card or their, what card is that? Gift card, right? It's a plastic card. But then when the moment they're going to swipe it on the cash counter, what exactly happens, right? So we are going section by section, and each processing, that means the transaction is not completed, meaning you're not there yet for getting the billing yet. Remember, the billing, the grocery bill will generate a bill. We are not there yet. Okay, so that means this is one of the important processing that needs to be operated. It all happens in that few minutes of time. We do not have to wait for so long in that queue, right? Have you all been to the cash counter in Walmart or anywhere? I'm talking about personal cash counters or self-checking out cash counters as well, right? So this is how it works. So what exactly is the process? Why it is a core process? It is a spinal cord, I would say. Right? Why? It is called as the underwriting processing. Okay, so this is a very on a layman level, user-friendly level I can educate, because population don't even have to know in detail, but if they know what exactly is going on behind, and they can really know what tax fraud is all about and the deadliest crime I'm talking about. Got it? So can you all see each and every single session I'm displaying crime? The bill and payment tax fraud is separate crime, versus the underwrite tax fraud is a separate crime. So yes, all along you're also entire world would get to see, witness why Dr. Fauci and Dr. Brinks provided a deadly scam. And for me, they provided damage. I don't know about my peers, how they feel about it. But for me, Dr. Fauci and Dr. Brinks provided damages. It will take time for me to heal. And for me to heal from the wounds and the damages created by Dr. Fauci, the prostitute, Dr. Brinks, the prostitute, it's United States of American government must sign off tax-free $2 trillion, period. And they can live free. And I want Dr. Fauci, Dr. Brinks to just laugh at me and see me living with the scars and acid they threw on my face by creating these damages. There should never be any COVID-19 plague. There should never be any mask. There should never be any need for a vaccination at the first place. All these are trillion dollars of wastages they made it. Are they humans? Are they humans? The innocent public population, they are in the freaked out mode. Their brains are already in the fear mode. They created it already, isn't it? By marketing with the mass, they created that fear. They created the doubtful brain. So that itself, they provided the damages directly to the human brain nerves already worldwide. It is out of their population interest only if at all they want to go to the hotels, if at all they want to dine in and have the food, right? Is Dr. Fauci a human at the first place? No, right? Never. In my book of law, at least he's not a human, no. He's another cloned face of Pope Francis, the devil, this Lucifer, the Antichrist, and that is why he got a $1 million salary from the Israel. I saw some Israeli word, that's why I'm stressing it out, Israeli, because that itself is an indirect, direct communication that I'm communicating to the federal government of United States of America that Israel, that land is called today, that Netanyahu, he's a scandal, he's a prostitute, he's in Islam and Judaism, he's never a Christian. And what is USA going to do about that today? Okay, so now let's come back to the underwriting part of it. So what is the scope? What is the objective, right? I'm going to provide only highest level, just to need to know basis only. Okay, and that too according to my understanding only. If anything is wrong, if I'm saying, just disregard it. Okay. But on the highest note, you all need to know for a birthright that underwriting tax fraud is deadliest crime, and they provided it anyways. And that is why Walmart and all the finance services must be in jail right now, including Associated Bank. You name any bank, all must be in the jail right now. They fear me only. They fear me only. So now tell me, okay, I will explain what underwriting process is, okay. So let's say any of the civilian, he or she goes to the grocery store to do the transaction, right? Or goes to the front-end banking sectors and do a transaction, meaning wants to do any finance, it can be deposit or it can be withdrawal, anything, okay. But then, or getting a loan, right? So then the people ask, okay, what is your name? What is your thing? We want to get that to start. the transaction. Okay, then once when all that is done, they'll say it will take 2 to 3 business days or 7 business days. Why they're saying that? What is the keyword? What is the hidden meaning behind that? Means this it'll does whatever they are collecting from the the prospective consumer, they will send it to this underwriting division. And they are humans only. They are not monsters. So they will go and they will be given a guidelines for the finance law and the compliance officers. They are the ones who provide the guidelines. Hey, finance, this is how it should be. If you are going to check, then pass this underwriting. If any one of these fails, then fail the underwriting and do not reject the loan upfront or cancel it like that. So for that, they wanted this many days to process it. And that is how the software logics and algorithms have been written. It's not a one-day thing that can happen, because that's but they say it's all paperless, it's update, it's so easy peasy, we can do it, everything. No. So this is the job of the underwriter. Okay, be it insurance claims or anything. But they have to go and they have to have their given guidelines, the handbook for the underwriting for their particular line of business product. They'll be given a handbook for them. So they will have it in the left hand side. On the right hand side, they will check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4 like that, and they will pass that. And they will say, yeah, bank, you can pass it, you can provide with the transaction. This is just only one process. I'm just saying the very, very complex process in a very simplest, user-friendly way. Got it? So this is the core business part of the entire business transaction, wherever you go, be it banking, be it retail, be it medical healthcare, whatever. Okay, so now tell me, the underwriting tax fraud is deadliest crime. Now, why exactly that is a crime? Because of tax fraud. Nothing but the tax fraud, right? So when they're going to do all these checklists and the guidelines, who gives the guidelines to the underwriters in the finance services? Is it you? No. Is it me? No. Is it God who created you and me? No. Is it animals like lions, tigers? They went to the banking sector. See, we are all animals, and I am the lion, the kingdom of the king of the animal king. You have to listen to this guidelines only, underwriters. Did lions give that guidelines to the underwriters of the finance services? No, never. Then who? Is it Republican government? Never. Is it Democrat government? Never. Is it GOP? Never. Is it Senate? No. Is it Congress? Never. Is it House of Representatives? Never. Is it Department of Justice? Never. Then who? Is it finance compliance officers? No. Then who? France leader. Can you see how he chopped the head of the France leader this moment? He gave the Statue of Liberty to destroy national operation of USA. That is all. France backstabbed USA without any awareness. They all joined hands, right? The France leader Netanyahu, he studied, he got free education from Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States of America, and he became a leader of fake Israel. And he backstabbed USA, telling that he's a Zionist, he's a Judaism, he's Israel, and USA got fooled. One side they gave him a free education when it is costliest for average civilians to get into the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Because any Islam, any Judaism, any European Americans, they get into those colleges. Harvard, Berkeley, Stanford, right? Harvard, you name. They all get to those colleges free to create more disasters. They want to create more human bombs out of them. That's a life proof, isn't it? Harvard Law School is producing human bombs. Harvard Medical School is providing human bombs. isn't it? Don't you all think I have to step in and start the reform and guide them with my discipline? Yes, my dear fellow mankind. This crime, this underwrite tax fraud crime is deadliest. Nobody knows that Netanyahu is the purest form of Islam, Judaism, atheism, communism, paganism. They fooled USA with one Christian word, Israel. This scandal has been going forever. This underwriting services even came very recently only. It's the youngest nations, I would say, right? People were still living without insurance only forever. It may be 100 years, if not 50 years, maybe close to 100 years, that's all. We all have seen that Wonderful Life, that movie. Most of them must have seen it. Right? It's a wonderful life. Right? It's a wonderful life. If not all, at least some people must have seen that movie. So some of the movies, they pass out indirect or direct communication to the population, but population will not get it, right? Because when they're going to go into the theater, they're going to see the movie only as a movie. Once when they're done eating their popcorn and popsicle or whatever, then they're done and they'll come back home. They'll not get me. So some of the movies, they provided hidden message. Short Circuit is one of them. The robots. They educated, direct communicated that robots are going to be the future. And here you go today, drones, even robots got upgraded to be drones. We humans are only lagging behind. I educated, this is crime. Underwriting is crime. Now can you all get it? How Dell became Dell Healthcare? How CVS Pharmacy became CVSE Healthcare? Yes, my dear fellow mankind. If at all they knew it is I am that I am, they all will be shedding tears of shame today. I educated line by line how these today I am providing only highest level of education, but when I was educating in the Poverty Free Earth End of the Year 2030 volunteer project, I educated everything in a very detailed mode, meaning like a spoon feeding, like how a teacher will sit next to the student and educate a student to make all the students in the class to be A plus grade, right? Not A plus or excellent grade, honors grade. With my education, people only listen quietly and they will follow the task. I already said how Apple became credit card. Very recently only, in 2019 only, I saw on the website, 2019. It's all because they all knew what design I'm going to provide, and when I'm going to step in and start the design task, I only said, hey software, please do not lag behind, because the moment when I'm going to step up and start the design task, I do not want Apple to say, sorry, we do not have that finance services, and Google do not have to say, sorry, we do not have those services. Everything must be ready, because I'm going to provide only tasks, and there should not be any delay. So this all the guidelines I provided as a prerequisite, and I said, do whatever you all can do. Just work as a team and come up with whatever products you can come up. And they're still working. Both Microsoft, Google, Apple, they're all working. I provided the task. They know what task I provided to them. That is why they fear me. So that's just different part of it. Now let's come back to the underwriting part of it. So these are the core business transactions. Without these underwriting processing, nothing will move. The system will crash. So let's say, I'm saying this is a crime, isn't it? Now let's say the Republican or the Democrat President Joe Biden goes, hey dear beings, this Vethapriya is saying underwriting is error, just remove those piece of code. Do you all know what the software teams will do? they will not be happy, then they'll be super mad, then even when they cannot say it out loud or accuse or whatever, they will accuse in their hearts. Because workload, it's too much of workload. When they are going to remove at least one word from this kind of a program logic that hits onto the underwriting session, everything will crash. They have to, it's a long labor. That is why people, even if President Joe Biden is provided a lot of workload, even he will accuse, isn't it? Nobody likes that. It's a universal brain operation here. Now tell me, can you all, so who created this hell? People knew, all the presidents and the governments and the national leaders, they all knew somewhere something is not right. That is why the population are getting tortured, but they could never figure out who is the root cause for all this chaos. Why? Their eyes all got blinded because they all yielded to sexual immorality. The result of that will be forever, the eyes will be blinded. Only God can heal that blinded eyes. So, who is that? It is Pope Francis, the prostitute. Queen Elizabeth II, the prostitute. Is it it must be very shocking for you all, isn't it? Because Pope Francis always talks sweetest talk. And Queen Elizabeth II talks always sweetest talk, and honey is bitter. When they talk so sweet that honey becomes bitterest, isn't it? This Roman province Jesuit organizations in state of Wisconsin, state of Illinois, state of Michigan, state of New York, state of New England, state of Louisiana, state of Missouri, state of California, state of Oregon, they're all God's people, isn't it? Roman Catholic fathers, Roman Catholic nuns, the prostitutes, archbishops, bishops, the prostitutes, the clergymen, the prostitutes, right? They all, if you see, when they put on the media and if they allow them to talk, they'll talk only sweet, right? The deacons, the lay preachers, the church pastors, the gospel singers, the Christian evangelicals, the evangelists, the tele-evangelists. Oh, that many population are there worldwide. So tell me, okay, the educated lawyers, the be it criminal lawyers or the civil lawyers from Harvard Law School, they are fools, they are prostitutes, they never bother to educate. Okay. How about medical doctors from Harvard Medical School? They always keep their God-given hands on the heart and do the pledge. I become doctor to save only human lives, for the well-being, for the welfare of the humans alone. And I, as a doctor, will never punish innocent. I, as a doctor, civil doctor, always provide civil justice. And I, as a civil doctor, will provide discipline, but discipline in a healthy, humane wellness standards alone. Without this pledge, they cannot even start in the college, medical college, right? It's the same for law school. So why not even one doctor stood up and educated them about this crime? Why Dr. Fauci, when Dr. Fauci and Dr. Brinks was very busy in marketing for that mask, for a plague that never even existed, why they never had that time to sit down with the underwriters and talk to them about, hey, underwriters, stop. Because this COVID-19 scam I am Fauci, right? I am the boss of USA. See, I am also providing all the scams since HIV era, Ebola era, Zika's era, and this is another one scam like that only. Okay, this is the whisper part, do not tell to anybody. Okay. Now, this COVID-19 is also going underwriters. I only provided a scam. So keep it between us. But then, just do not provide any underwriting restrictions. Give loans for the homeless. Give loans for the unemployed. Give them. They'll themselves will improve their own economic status. This is what Dr. Fauci should have done as a doctor, right? From an accredited school. He has been there since the HIV era. So that means how many tax frauds he must have provided, and he's still living free, 80 plus years old, right? Ebola virus, tax fraud. Zika virus, tax fraud. So let's all take care of that issue separate. Let's not confuse here. That is why I want to provide crime by crime, session by session. Even if it is taking long time, it is still worth it because the crime displays deadliest, right? Okay, Dr. Fauci is a man, so he's innocent, so he's super fool, a prostitute. Okay, what about Dr. Branch? She looks cute, isn't it? Like a model, like a wearing the fancy scarves, like how Nancy Pelosi wears mask, right? Even she has been through that same era only, right? HIV era, Ebola era, Zika virus era, doctors. How much of salary they must have earned. And there's a proof. Recently they earned $1 million just for creating this havoc alone, right? At least Dr. Brinks, being a woman, she could have sat next to the underwriters and educated them, right? Why? What exactly is Harvard Medical School is teaching for the population? Garbage, right? That's a proof here. Okay. Non-presidents are all laymen, they are all fools, they are all prostitutes. The senates are fools, prostitutes. GOP are all fools and prostitutes. Congress are all fools and prostitutes. House of Representatives, fools and prostitutes. How about Treasury? How about the revenue? How about the tax agency? At least they could have sat next to the underwriting operators and then could have educated them. Hey, that's deadliest COVID-19 plague is created. You all know, right? Let's whisper. You all know that's a scam, right? That Dr. Fauci created a plague for a plague that's not even existing. At least for that scam, let's not provide any restrictions. Okay, provide all the waivings, remove all the interest, remove all the late fees, remove all the sending to collections. At least they could have educated. Right. Who was that man with that President Trump admin? I think MNU, I don't know how to, Nukin or Mutkin or MNUCHIN, because he wears glass. He was a treasury. And now with a lady called Ellen, right? I don't know her full name. She was there during Obama admin, and that's why she is been given that job one more time by President Joe Biden. Now, who is another prostitute? Right? At least those two people, as a humane standard, they could have, regardless of being Republicans or Democrats, putting that tag aside, being the human part, they could have sat next to the underwriters and educated, right? So here there's a proof here that whoever is the Secretary of the Treasury, they don't have to worry about the monthly bill pay. They don't have to worry about whether they have to pay the mortgage or the rental. They don't even have to worry about commuting, gasoline cost, anything. So they're all almost like a small king's mode only. So when the power is given, how they use the power says it all, isn't it? President Trump was a business mogul. He was given that power. Did he use it correctly? President Joe Biden, a lawyer, was given power. Did he use it correctly? Never. Did President Obama use his power correctly? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? Out of these 46 presidents, the credit goes to President Obama. Right? He provided the stepping stone, a baby step. That's all he was able to do. Nothing more, nothing less. That's at fault mode. He's also prostitute only, but even in that mode, it is in all this 46 presidents, it is only one president. He created a history forever, right? Affordable health insurance. Just a baby step. Long way to go. Long way to go means lot of updates needs to be done there. So if only Hewlett-Packard, when they won the Medicare $1 billion project with federal government and they allowed me to work on that project, or made me a CEO of DXC Technology for that healthcare division, I would have provided healthy solutions, isn't it? So they never wanted that. So these people wanted to stay and get soaked in the garbage only. For 500 years of garbage, they have been soaked and marinated in that garbage. And they're comfortable in that garbage. That's the meaning of it. Hewlett-Packard want to be in that garbage only. It is almost like how the pigs always love to be in that garbage. It's the same thing. Right? They know all the software services are broken, but they never bother to fix it, because as long as they are getting the paycheck, no matter what. I already said people who are working in the workplace are also prostitutes. That's why they know the crime and they were not able to stand up and display the crime. Survival mode. Survival mode, right? Yes, my dear fellow mankind, this underwriting tax fraud is deadliest crime. President Joe Biden is only at fault mode. How long he had to fix this underwriting processing? He wasted everything, okay? Then he got another opportunity. He was a vice president during the President Obama's administration. Hillary Clinton was there to take care of the military operations and international relations, right? John Kerry was there. There were people. He could have stepped in and provided a healthy review session and talked with them and provided healthy guidance, affordable solutions. He never did that, right? So what exactly went wrong? Everything went wrong. So from credit card tax fraud, chip tax, Europay, MasterCard, Visa card tax fraud, MasterCard tax fraud, Visa tax fraud, Coinstar tax fraud, grocery stores poison provider tax fraud. Then what was the earlier session? Bill pay transaction tax fraud, then underwriting tax fraud. Now we all got it. Why? How many people were getting evicted from the rental services worldwide? And how the landlord became the villains? And how the rental association organization never got any help or guidelines to how to handle clearly this COVID-19 crisis from the government whatsoever. Okay, when all these people are foolish people, prostitutes, who is God of USA? Pope Francis is God of USA. What does he say? He says only rosary, and he says Lord's Prayer, fancy Lord's Prayer. And then he also provides mass every single Sunday. And he also wears cross. And he also wears burqa. Right? And he also gets to stay in the palace. Super palace, isn't it? And he got all the authority. What did he do with that authority? This is a behavioral pattern of a Lucifer. I already educated and I'll educate one more time because we humans easy can forget, right? Lucifer was a God's most lovable angel. It has its own defense code of hidden puzzle here. Each and every single humans created by God's image are God's angels, is the hidden message. So, how that loving angels became Lucifer, Pope Francis, Queen Elizabeth II, absolute monarchs, Dalai Lama, yoga gurus, they are all the live examples. Why? The moment that highest level of power is given, they can abuse it. They do not care about the population. Pope Francis is a prostitute. Are you still working? What's the difference between Pope Francis and other male population? Keep working on it. I want only correct answers here. No wrong answer. No. Only correct answers. What is the difference between Pope Francis and the other male population? You all work on it. You all work on it. So this underwriting part of it, this is what they do. They be given a checklist or a guidelines, a handbook by the, it is given only by Pope Francis. It is given only by France leader. That is why if you see in the screenshot, I nailed it on the crime. With that one screenshot is enough for them, for the federal government to fry Pope Francis in ashes. I will only say, Pope Francis, say rosary or whatnot in the volcano. Just get out of the earth, get lost, be gone in ashes. This is what I will say to Pope Francis, right? So who created the tax fraud in the underwriting processing itself, the core important finance transaction process? Who created that disaster? See, can you see? Yes, I am displaying how Associated Bank and Walmart and Hewlett-Packard and all the software, Microsoft, Google, everybody are in handcuffed mode, means they are mandated to look like that mode. Sounds like at fault mode. They all got slaughtered after all. Because the software developers, they only go by the guidance only. They're not, because they have to do the lot of brain drain job, right? They have to work on what is logic, what is algorithm, how to create the correct syntax, how to create the loop, and how to create checkpoints, the gateways, everything they have to keep on working in a just given 8 hours time in a day. Then end of the day, they have to pack their things and they have to go back home, right? But then, Pope Francis exploited that processing. So that is why every single software line of code in any public sectors and private sectors is completely wrong. Crime. Not even wrong, it is crime. Associated Bank must be sealed and shut down immediately for finance endangerment. They lost eligibility to say apologies to the population because of tax fraud. Nobody can help Associated Bank. I can bail out Associated Bank because there is innocence is identified, right? From my end, I was only educating wisdom. They never got it. And it's a telltale signs. Because when I'm going to say it is going to be the out-of-box wisdom, and people will not get it, right? For healthy, wisest people, the foolish people will never get my wisdom. But I finished providing design also on a highest overview level. That itself is a cost is $1 million. It's Associated Bank happily must sign off tax-free $1 million for I provided the patented design already. It is Pope Francis who provides that underwriting guidelines to these financial services. And software developers, they started to write the software, complex software codes with that given guidelines handbook only. It will be the hearts. There are only humans in the workplace, software world too. They are having hearts, right? God-given hearts. H-E-A-R-T. That heart will be boiling now, this moment. Whatever labor they provided for software code, design, everything vain, everything wasted. Everything must be thrown in the garbage, right? How the blood will be boiling. Oh, I can understand that frustration, right? But after displaying the errors, I also provided healthy solutions, affordable solutions. So they never wanted to get into that healthy mode. When these finance services wanted to have robo, drones, and science and technology, they want their systems to be broken only. That is wrong. That says something wrong with the foolish people brains operations, right? Don't all think so? Without fixing that core, this is a very core important business operation, and without fixing this core important business operation, how can they even shamelessly or shamefully even provide transactions? But it's going on. They say, I got it in the news, it is the retails and the finance services who got lot of money in tax revenues in the year 2020 during COVID-19 crisis, when people were being tortured worldwide. This is a live example, telltale example of what exactly is Holocaust. So whoever never got to witness the Holocaust in Germany or in Poland, they are witnessing right now. Underwriting tax fraud is indeed a Holocaust kind of a crucifixion. A homeless gets a healthy help from the finance. He or she can easily improve his or own economic status, isn't it? But Pope Francis never wanted that way. So even the homeless people, even if they want to go to the welfare services is broken. Department of Welfare and Children's Families, they are all calling themselves a fancy one. They are all the prostitutes, right? Absolute deadliest prostitutes. They laid me off because I displayed the crime assist mode. They never helped homeless. No. When they never helped homeless before COVID-19, how on earth they even be bothered to help the homeless during the COVID-19 and as of this today? That's a proof, right? 1935 started the Department of Children Families in state of Wisconsin, is my understanding. So that means 65 years or more than that, close to 100 years maybe, because we are already in 2021, 20 years here, and then 68 years maybe, yeah. They wanted the homeless to must have paid tax to Pope Francis and Queen Elizabeth II. Then they can even think of working on providing the benefits to them or not. And until then, the homeless have to wait and die. And these Department of Welfare Services have fancy name, right? They have department names that sound so good, heavenly. And then welfare, oh, that sounds very, very cool, very stylish, and also very humane. Welfare. Then the children and families, oh, that sounds like, oh my Garden of Eden. Oh, how cool is that? Is that how that organization functions to operates to help only the population? Oh, wow. But nothing they provided. So federal government of United States of America will only ask Department of Children and Families of state of Wisconsin, all the 50 states, to seal and shut down immediately for humane endangerment, count 1, crime. For national operation, crime 1, crime 2, tax fraud, isn't it? And for having a fancy name of welfare, families and children services, and they provided this kind of a deadliest crime, so 3rd crime, count 3. And above all, the Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis have educated the Department of Welfare Services, reject any kind of benefits to the colored skin and African Americans up front. So, crime 4. Then, The Africans, they cry and they die on the road, and these Department of Welfare Services people will watch them die. They enjoy. They are the sadistic. They are the domestic violence. They must get the medical evaluation at the first place, right? They are the mental disordered people. There are different personality disorders: obsessive compulsion, bipolar, schizophrenia, so many things, right? How those mental disorders are created? Or is it really there? Or they just cooked it up for a business? Because doctors have to, oh, you have this disorder, you pay me the tax. Oh, you have this mental disorder, oh no, you're so dangerous. So Dr. Fauci is dangerous after all. He is having some brain disorder, personal disorder. Right? Pope Francis must never be there in the allowed to live free among the humans. So that it's a life proof that whatever brain disorders the doctors provided for a classification of diseases is another tax fraud crime. Got it? Got it why these doctors are in hot oil and they just jealous of me? Because I never went to the medical school. They all went to the medical school, and I am just chopping Department of Health Services in ashes, right? They just could not take it. And now everything got traced now. But for whatever damages Dr. Fauci provided to me, USA have to pay me $1 trillion, $2 trillion. Because before hurting me, people needs to know what is being humane always. He can be doctor, Dr. Fauci can be doctor or whatever. I don't care about that. I care about how he is, whether he is being humane always. The little action shows what a person is, isn't it? A small act is enough. Can you all see how I can even scan the people without knowing anything? I don't know anything about Dr. Fauci. I don't know anything about Dr. Briggs. Both of them are absolute purest form of strangers to me. But those small actions is enough for me to observe and scan them up. It is because of God-given wisdom only. It is because of God-given wisdom only. So yes, with that said, you population must know for a birthright, for your civil rights, for your human rights, for your consumer law rights, you should know that underwriting tax fraud is one of the deadliest crime that is being provided behind when you're swiping that card on the counter, in the grocery store, in the retail or online shopping or wherever you're going to do. We all never knew, right? We are all laymen. All we can see is just fancy card. That's all. And we are not even seeing the dollars. We don't even know whether there's a dollars in the system. Are they just doing some mouth transactions? No, right? So, this is the deadliest crime. So, yes, President Trump, who was a business mogul, a real estate mogul, must be handling with huge transactions of dollars. Businessman, right? He could have sat side by side with underwriters and could have educated, but he never did that because honestly, he's a businessman. He's a real estate mogul, and beyond that, he's an entertainment world. So why would even bother? Probably he might have wanted some people to step in and guided him in the rightful way, and sadly, he never got it. Mitch McConnell backstabbed him. Brett Kavanaugh backstabbed him. So these are all the life testimony how presidents are only puppets in the hands of USA government. They are just puppets, namesake only. They can get all the luxury, that's all. Okay, so President Trump could not help. President Obama, he never was able to help, isn't it? Whatever reform and whatever healthy processing was saying, Mitch McConnell says no, 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 destroyed. 4 years. 8 years passed, isn't it? I don't know what sadistic pleasure this Mitch McConnell gets for saying no and throwing roadblocks for healthy processing. That traces directly to he's another puppet and a purest form of prostitute, prostituting with Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis, and says whatever they ask him to do. That traces to why even President Trump became helpless. Now, with all this track record and the known things that's going on, that how the Democrat government and the Republican government, both of them cannot help, how on the earth President Joe Biden can even help? Who never bothered to fix any of these loopholes, any of this it's not even loopholes, I would say. It is a deadliest crime. People were wondering why that is a skyrocketing utility bill, why there's a skyrocketing medical bill, why there's a skyrocketing insurance bill. Nobody got the answer. Nobody could figure it out. They were getting it, okay, something is not right. It is some fishy things that's going on. But nobody were able to track down the true villain, the true criminal, who is the root cause for all this chaos. And I displayed it is Pope Francis. Now tell me, it is the Associated Bank must pay me $1 million today, tax-free today, because I provided the patented design solution, right? It's hurting me, my dear fellow mankind, beyond destroying my career path, beyond throwing acid on my face, beyond creating scars and crucifixions on my face. At least they could have provided a retirement package and provided me with that, right? That would have helped me. So what exactly went wrong in humanity? And there are only humans in Associated Bank. They are not monsters, no. Only humans only. And educated population only. So why those people were not able to understand? Why? What education does Associated Bank needs that they should never lay off by just like that, hire and lay off immediately, abruptly? What education must be provided to them? At least Pope Francis could have sat next side by side to the Associated Bank and could have educated, isn't it? But how would he educate that to Associated Bank when I'm saying it is Pope Francis who created all the hell? Yes, my dear fellow mankind, I must get lot of salaries and it's all pending. Down with the medical compensation for the Dr. Fauci provided damages, I want $2 trillion tax-free. Then USA will not create these kind of a foolish people to damage human brains, right? How selfish. How selfish. And this is a definition of Islam, Judaism, Zionism. This is how they operate. Their blood cells operate this way only. They do not have sentiments. They don't have emotions. That is why there are no humans in USA. Year is already 2021. And even the first quarter of 2021 is going to get ended, right? Next couple of weeks. Even for robo services, people, I already said, the software has their own fancy way of processing. They tell, see, we are only following waterfall. We are comfortable with that. Oh no, see, we are only following agile. But even using those agile processing or whatever processing, they could have fixed it. So they never fixed it. So that means entire workplace, the employment, processing, everything crashed down, isn't it? I will only ask, okay, banking sectors, you are saying that you are following the waterfall process or an agile processing. Why never fix this underwriting tax fraud crime? If the Six Sigma processing or this agile processing says that they can fix it, why? How many automated tools are there? Why they never fixed it? They say that marketing, for the marketing to these big corporations, this automated tool, another prostitutes, they'll say, you get our automated tools, we'll make everything paperless and you can be free, like that. So they will initially get a contract for $1 billion and they will just stay there forever, and the institutions like banking sectors will break their heads because it will start with $1 billion cost and it will end up somewhere close to 50 billion or 100 billion. And they cannot get rid of that automated tools because once when it gets integrated into the software services, how the software code as such cannot be just like that written, it needs a time. They just like that cannot get rid of these vendors tools. So everybody falls in the trap. It comes like a mouse trap. So what exactly went wrong? Nobody fixed this underwriting crime, the tax fraud crime, right? If the automated tool says they are the perfect processing, they should have fixed it. That it's a live proof how the software developers, the software designers, the database designers, the business analysts, they are all just working to get their paycheck removed and just get away. End of the day. Who cares if entire operation is wrong? As long as they're getting the job, as long as they're in the nice job title, as long as they're having that finance stable, who cares more? But I am the one who stood up always for the rightful at the cost of getting laid off, right? Medicare is wrong as only highest level. When you come deep down, the next layer, underwriting will be there. Boom, it checks and it throws and it displays that error, tax fraud. But even before going to that, without that, on highest level itself, I said, hey, Hewlett-Packard, this entire Medicare is crap, garbage. Only innocence is they never knew that I worked for Poverty Free Earth end of the year 2030 volunteer project. And they never knew one more truth also, which I'm going to reveal it to you all one more time. They never knew I'm the true owner of Hewlett-Packard after all. I gave a solution to the Department of Justice. Either Hewlett-Packard or American Family Insurance, they can assign me a job, like a passive job. And I get to have that 51% of the shares of that company. And I can provide the design solutions, 50,000 years of Medicare design solutions for either one of the insurance companies. Please, can you work on that end? At least get me the job on that side, along with the other customized job I asked for. No reply, no help. They wanted to still work with this broken systems only. They do not want to fix it. Even before COVID-19 hit, the systems have broken only. They never got fixed. So then what went wrong in the conscience? Common sense for Dr. Fauci, who went to accredited doctor school, medical school. Can you all imagine what kind of a damage he did? And it's a lifetime damages he created for me. If my peers loves to wear the mask, it's their choice. For me, it is he created a damage on my brain nerves. And I want medical compensation for that. It is $2 trillion USA must pay me. Now, you all got it. This session is all about underwriters, tax fraud. So you all got what is the scope, what is the objective, what is the job the underwriters do, isn't it? On a highest level only I provided. It goes by case basis and goes by the business processing model. But on the bottom line, very basic foundation level, this is what they do. They have to go with the guidelines they are provided with, and they have to go check, here check, go check, check, pass. If everything must be checked, only that can be passed. If there are 10 things that needs to be checked, if one thing fails, then they have to fail. Then they say your loan is rejected for this reason. Or your credit card got expired, that's why the billing is not generated. Do you have any other credit card or debit card that you can pay off? Like that they will ask in the cash counter in the grocery store. So now you all got it. How fast is the transaction must be done for us to swipe the card, and then the cash counters have to do whatever the task they have to do, and then the billing must be generated and then given to us. How fastest all these transactions must be done means it's all that software code that is written behind the scenes. And this is one important core processing. And they even mandated, Pope Francis said, do not write underwriting software code for child marriage. Oh, that will create a lot of problem for me because I'm God of USA, so everybody will fire me in ashes. He educated to them. That's why that important chunk of code of software is not there anywhere. Department of Welfare Services is not there. Oh, there's a deadliest crime waiting for them. They got the curse. They just cannot escape the wrath of God. They can fool the population, but they cannot fool true God, right? That whole chunk, the important core functionality of the software processing is not even provided in Department of Welfare Services. Child marriage population. Homeless population. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, this is indeed a deadliest crime. Please understand the crime. And this is just umbrella, okay? Then, along with the guidelines, what more of a guide they'll be given, these underwriters? They'll be given with the risk factors. So that will be another guidelines, handbook. Okay? So that will have all risk codes. Like how you have a disease and disease code, or like that. For a risk 1, he's unemployed, so cannot pay, so that is risk 1. Risk 2, there's no sort of income for this unemployed, so that is risk 2. Like that. I'm just providing one of the simplest user-friendly way of scenarios for you all to understand in a layman way. But on the business processing level, on the software world, they would add more verbiage that the software world can understand to write the code based out of that. I'm just displaying everything in a very transparent, very clean, very simplest way. Even people who don't know, who never went to the school, can even understand my education, right? That is how I've been educating. That's how I've been educating now too. With one clean law for all. So those risk factors guidelines, it will be a chart. So one is the underwriting guidelines, they have to go check that, and then they have to side by side check those risk factors and the risk codes guidelines as well. So it is going to be a pretty much important task that the underwriters will be doing, because it's a core processing. They are the ones who are going to accept the loans, approve the loans, or they are going to reject the loans. So they are the core operators, right? But then how they have been misguided. They all have been slaughtered. They thought that they are working for excellent underwriting public operations. But they never knew a deadliest scandal that's been going on very highest level of layer, that Pope Francis and Queen Elizabeth II, an Absolute-Monarchs and France leader, destroyed all these operations. Right. So that means whatever processing that software world have been providing for past 30-50 years is also wrong, right? Otherwise they could have at least figured it out and fixed that loophole. So even they want to leave it as a small. Why? That way Republican government, Senate, like Mitch McConnell, Brett Kavanaugh, like that, they can abuse their power, and they can get what or not from the finance services, right? And that is a direct proof how they provided the robocall poverty mandate one side, and how without my consent they were able to create a credit card and provided a transaction, created a scar on me, threw acid on me. That means Pope Francis can do any crap nobody can ask, but not anymore. I chopped his head, right? I displayed this deadliest crime. The federal government got it. They are going to say to all finance services to seal and shut down. Even Federal Reserve is on that mode only right now. LNS must be shaking in fear, sweating blood, right? The lady, the Ellen, who got elected to be the Secretary of the Treasury, she must be sweating blood with freaking out. Oh God, why she got into this kind of a mousetrap mode. Curse, crime, tax fraud, crime, right? So how that local branch got shut down? God's way, right? God's proving it. How things can happen, how evil people can throw false prosecution, all this shame, and how God's names alone is always glorified. The front office of that branch, local branch, got shut down. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, this session went 1 hour and 3 minutes, and I have to start reading the civil justice. But this particular session, the crime is deadliest. Oh, I can wish USA government can understand the severity level of this crime. I'm just cracking down, meaning I'm doing a multitasking here. One side, the national leaders were not able to figure out why exactly the Medicaid is wrong, is crime, is broken. Something fishy, but they couldn't just not figure it out. Here you go, I'm displaying crime by crime by crime, and it must be the national leaders worldwide must be shedding tears of joy and saluting me. Right? At what cost? At what cost? People have to stand up and say correct is correct, wrong is wrong. I'm unemployed right now. I want job right now. Right? I want finance right now. I don't have enough finance. I have the retirement fund, but there's a penalty for it, tax for it. What kind of hell these people created for me, right? There is no programs here in any of the banking sectors to provide a help that is tailored for the civilians' needs, which should be. There should be programs to help the civilians' basic needs as and when needed basis, right? That is how the finance services should be, software should be designed. But it's not, that's why it's porous design. Right? Even now, if only Associated Bank signs $1 million and pay me that retirement package, and then the base salary of 72,000 and even it to be 100,000, I will absolutely take it. Right? But I still have to display the errors of Associated Bank, no matter what. They can lay me off. But they cannot escape this crime, isn't it? This underwriting, tax fraud crime, they cannot escape. And they are having a lot of systems that is integrated. Not only Associated Bank, you name US Bank or Freddie Mac, you name any of the bank. I can provide the bailout process. I can redesign. I can sit next to with the Associated Bank and guide them how to do, which I would have done, but they never provided me that opportunity because I displayed Pope Francis as the destroyer. And they got freaked out from their end because state of Wisconsin, state of Illinois, state of Michigan, it all are neighboring states to play a spot to the Green Bay. Green Bay is like almost that spot only, right? And these three states means three types of criminals. The Roman Province Jesuits Organization of State of Wisconsin, they have to answer. Then Roman Province Jesuits of State of Illinois, they have to answer. And Roman Province Jesuits of Michigan, they have to answer. And I said, Jesuits leader, Pope Francis, is a hell creator. He was the one who destroyed all these finance services. Up front, I said that. They laid me off abruptly on that spot. Means that itself is a proof how people fear for that word Jesuits. How they fear for the word Pope Francis. Because it kills them. That's all. It's a death mode, live or die mode, kind of a survival mode part of it. So what would you all have done? What would you all have done? So you keep all working, but at least I displayed on a higher level. This highest basic foundation is enough. So I educated the public population what the underwriter does. So that means I also educated the population to choose their choices of career pathways, right? There are how many people who loves to do this underwriting job. So I guided them, hey, you can be an underwriter, but this is the basic task. Then probably you have to go through that on-the-job training and maybe certification that can help. That's all secondary steps. But this is a very basic skill sets. If you have that fast learning ability and then can be a team player, that's all they look at. I educated that, right? So worldwide population who never knew what is underwriting, they got to know what is underwriting at the first place. And now I have to educate that same thing because they provided the tax fraud crime. We people need to know what exactly is happening behind that swiping of the card, isn't it? So I displayed how the agriculture crime, right? How I made them to provide the food labeling. As a consumer civil lawyer, consumer rights civil lawyer, I can even ask you, say, why they never provided the check in the credit card or a debit card or in the gift card that they pass that underwriting, they pass that claim, that is a check mark. That can help for our population to be protected from the consumer rights side, right? They thought consumers are trash. They can do whatever, and these consumers will get freaked out and they will be as slaves to them. Not anymore. Right? It is not going to take much of a space. They have to use a code in alphabets and just put check mark. Boom. That's all is needed. That means right there, that card is secure. Nobody can hack it. Nobody can hack it, right? Nobody can hack it. So, if only they would have allowed me to start providing the design solution, I would have guided them in the rightful way, right? So, but then they never allowed me to provide, and that itself is a proof that fools always loves to be fools only. They are always in that comfort zone of being fools. They'll never understand why wisest are standing up and talking wisdom alone. They'll mock at the wisest after all. It's a telltale sign of fools. Right? So this underwriting is a scam. Tax fraud is a scam, right? Now tell me, if Associated Banks wants to provide me another job offer, I will take it. And still, I will provide the solutions in a healthy way only, right? They all know, everybody knows about my rock solid work ethics. When it comes to the work, I roll up my sleeves and work. But this part of the crime, they must have fixed it, but they are helpless more. I explained why they are helpless more, right? So there is that little bit of innocence, and I can bail out. I only can bail out Associated Bank, nobody. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, this is just only one part of the transaction. There is more transactions. There is claims transaction. That also has a lot of guidelines to be passed out. And then finally everything passed the validations, then checkpoints and gateways successfully, then we get that bills generated. $30 grocery bill or $50 telephone bill, like that. And we get to see that bill, isn't it? So we get to see only the bill from the front end side. When we go to the Walmart, we were able to see only the bill. But from that bill, from swiping the card to the bill, or from getting the grocery items in the grocery store and putting in the cart and coming all the way to the cash counter and swiping the card, to getting that bill, how many transactions must be provided or logics must be created, built out of it. Behind the scenes, nobody knows, right? They have to talk to different vendors, right? I already said, Nestle is one vendor, Microsoft is another vendor, Apple is another vendor for Walmart, right? They have to talk. So everything must be done in that shortest time of frame, because there will be at least 10 people in a rush hour day in the shopping, in one cash counter aisle I'm talking about. If the same thing is provided in the self-checkout, that's all. It makes life easy, right? But I'm talking about the regular manual way of transaction. I would not say manual, but partial manual, right? Because we people have to stand in the queue. So there will be 10 people, let's put a rough estimate, 10 people will be standing in the queue in the cash counter. So that many transactions, 10 types of cards will be swiped on the cash counter. So that much logics must be written, right? It's not always people will be using only Costco credit card, or it will not be always people will be using Citibank credit card, or it will not be always people will be using American Express credit card. The software lines have to go hit on every gate points, must never leave any of the loopholes there, right? So, but then this underwriting comes important code processing, and that is destroyed. It's a tax fraud. When a backbone does not work, can we walk? Can we sit? Can we do anything? Nothing. It's the same thing. And underwriting tax fraud is a crime. Entire banking sectors, entire insurance sectors, entire finance services all went wrong. Crime. It is USA must pay for those damages done to the population. For me, the damages done to you by the Dr. Fauci is too much of a damage. So $2 trillion, that must be a separate billing. USA should not even combine that billing to the other billing. No, I want billing separate only, separate billing. Because then only those people who hurted me will never bother to hurt any of my peers anymore. So with that said, I will quickly read through the civil justice, okay? First quarter of 2021, January 2021, February 2021, March of 2021, deadliest criminals at fault found guilty, Republican government and Democrat of USA and Absolute-Monarchs, Antichrist, Queen Elizabeth II, and Pope Francis created underwrite loans and I have to include the loans here, because loans also comes under the finance services, and because underwriting means underwrite will be checking on different logic. So how it will be checking means underwriting Apple credit loans, check. Underwriting Google loans, check. Underwriting Facebook loans, check. Underwriting Microsoft loans, check. And then it will say, okay, they are not providing that loan services. Then it will say, okay, they are not providing any loan services. Then go to the next check. Underwrite credit card, Apple credit card, check. Underwrite Google credit card, check. Underwrite Microsoft credit card, check. Underwrite Facebook credit card, check. Oh no, there's a tax fraud. Boom. Display. It will immediately stop there, and the software immediately display, and it will just crash down. Okay, so Apple is not providing credit card. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, next one is the debit. Okay, underwrite Apple debit card, check. Underwrite Google debit card, check. Underwrite Microsoft debit card, check. Underwrite Facebook debit card, check. Oh, there is tax fraud. Boom. System will crash abruptly. Will shut down or will display the error message. Boom, 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 alert, mayday, mayday. They will not provide mayday, mayday. Mayday is a word they are using it for only the military operations. When they are almost about to die, they will say mayday, mayday. Then the ground office people will provide some kind of help to them. But instead of mayday, mayday here in software, they will provide a error message, pop-up message, a window telling that the system is crashing down because tax fraud is found. But this is how they have to write the software logic. If they are not going to write it, this error will not be even displayed at the first place, and it never got displayed. That's 500 years past. This error was there forever. They never fixed it because Pope wanted the system to be broken this way only. That is why it never got fixed. Queen Elizabeth wanted the systems to be broken this way. So that is why that very important logic core of software code was not even written. Okay. Then it will come to this logic. Underwrite Apple gift card, check. Underwrite Microsoft gift card, check. Underwrite Google gift card, check. Underwrite Facebook gift card, check. Oh, there is tax fraud. Boom. Again it will throw up error. When it's going on getting error after, all of a sudden the system will shut down. The black screen. Right? Because the software loop, if it's going to get into a never-ending loop, it might throw this kind of an error, crash down. It might even corrupt the entire software services as well, based on the how that code was written to handle these kind of errors. At this moment, I am absolutely positive the systems is not in that mode to handle these errors. That is the only reason why the software developers will be cursing in their hearts and boiling, the blood will be boiling and cursing Pope Francis and Queen Elizabeth too. Because when software world were entering into the software world, they never thought that they are going to get into this kind of a deadliest crime. It's for not fault of theirs, but they became at fault mode. They became the setup tool mode. They have to mandatorily to write wrongful software code when they could have used those excellent talent to write an healthier processing of software. So that means I have Pope Francis must resign from Vatican now. I become the Vatican leader. I sit next to the underwriting people and I educate. This is how you have to provide the services. For that, I must get the rightful job now. I must get the salary now. I must get all those healthy services. That's all I'm asking. Right? So it is just, first I have to get the help and then I can help all the people mode. So for this loan, tax fraud, loan crime they provided, USA must pay me $1,500 trillion direct deposit to my bank account. There's no excuse, right? So who created this havoc? Nobody knew who created until I displayed, right? Absolute-Monarchs, Antichrist, Queen Elizabeth II, and Pope Francis created underwrite loans, underwrite credit card, underwrite debit card, underwrite gift card, tax fraud crime worldwide. Can you see how the tax fraud crime is exponentially increased? When there is a underwrite loans tax fraud, that is one crime count. Underwrite credit tax fraud, crime 2. Underwrite debit tax fraud, crime 3. Underwrite gift card tax fraud, crime 4. And let's say this is only for Apple. So how many brands are there? Apple is there, then Google is there, then Microsoft there, and Facebook is there. So 4 times 4 is what? 16 crime counts. Just only for these 4 giants. But then this is only highest level. There is lot of sub-layers of software, right? Be it IBM, be it Oracle, be it SQL, be it DB2, so many things are, everything crashed. Automated tool, automated suit that's created to create insurance like Idewire, right? All must be ending up in jail. IBM must be ending up in jail. No more IBM can be proud that IBM is IBM, because everybody knows it became a garbage when this kind of a tax fraud is provided. And it's not their fault, that I know, you all know, we all know. But when it is coming to the civil justice, this is how the civil justice must be provided in the judicial process. I can bail out IBM. I can bail out Oracle, right? Because innocence is identified. Without awareness only, how every innocent population got slaughtered and mandated look at fault mode, when it is Pope Francis who created all this havoc. And yes, Pope Francis must resign immediately now. For I, Vethapriya PROSE, proved scandal of absolute monarchs and proved Pope Francis is Roman Empire King Herod as of February 2021. Any salary, as in tax-free billions of dollars, USA government can provide effective immediate using direct deposit to my bank account to I am that I am, Vethapriya PROSE, native Indian tribe, Israelite tribe, Christian Jew of Israel, Judah, Jerusalem, true owner of all nations worldwide, can help me. Scandal phases of Republica, Europe nations worldwide, Republica at fault found guilty, prostitutes of Europe, USA tax fraud, March 2021 is proved. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, underwrite loans, credit, debit card, gift card, tax fraud, crime provided, tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, used Republican government, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, used a Democrat government, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Queen Elizabeth II, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Pope Francis, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, GOP Mitch McConnell, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, President Trump 2016 to 2020 and President Joe Biden 2020 to 2024, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Roman Province Jesuits Organization, State of Wisconsin, State of Michigan, State of Illinois, State of New York, State of New England, State of Maryland, State of Louisiana, State of Missouri, State of California, State of Oregon, provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I, Vethapriya PROSE. Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis and underwrite loans, an underwrite credit card, an underwrite gift card, an underwrite debit card tax fraud created, robocall poverty mandate enforced poverty disabled to I, Vethapriya PROSE. On October 2018 is proved. For prostitute Republican government of USA to steal the rightful Supreme Court judge job of USA on October 2018. That rightful belonged to I, Vethapriya PROSE. Civil law must be provided now without any delay. So I, Vethapriya PROSE, true civil lawyer, true civil doctor, true civil Supreme Judge, want the text for ongoing civil justice sign-off. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, USA Republican government and USA Democrat government, as in Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis, and underwrite loans, underwrite credit card, underwrite debit card, underwrite gift card, underwrite tax fraud, created robocall poverty mandate to I, Vethapriya PROSE, true civil lawyer, true civil lawyer, true civil doctor, true civil supreme judge, and true civil supreme judge, I, Vethapriya, PROSE, true civil lawyer, true civil doctor, true civil supreme judge, and Republican government GOP leader Mitch McConnell, President Trump, Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh in October 2018 enforced poverty mandate to I, Vethapriya, PROSE abruptly on October 2018 and Republican government of the United States of America took away $4,500 on October 2018 abruptly and enforced finance debt of $10,000 plus since October 2018, October 2019, October 2020, and as of January 2021, February 2021, March 2021 to I, Vethapriya, PROSE, and enforced finance disabled to I, Vethapriya, PROSE abruptly. It is crime for at fault found guilty of fatal negligence, USA Republican government and USA Democrat government and Queen Elizabeth II, Pope Francis, and underwrite loans, underwrite credit cards, underwrite debit card, underwrite gift card, tax fraud, crime created, robocall poverty mandate is proved, and so civil justices, I, Vethapriya, PROSE want Citibank CEO to pay off my debt $10,000 plus and sign off tax-free $5,000 and at fault found guilty of fatal negligence, USA Republican government and USA Democrat government, Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis, and underwrite loans and underwrite credit card and underwrite debit card and underwrite gift card, tax fraud, crime created, robocall poverty mandate, fatal negligence, so must sign off tax-free $1,500 trillion to be direct deposited in my bank account for all types of damages done by selfish, cunning, Islam, Judaism, Absolute-Monarchs types, wild endangered species, and health creators, and at fault and found guilty, Holy Highness God of USA, Queen Elizabeth II, Pope Francis, and Republican government of USA will provide the needful help accordingly to be in the same page. And this session went a little long, 1 hour and 28 minutes, and it's worth it, right? People got educated. What is exactly the underwriting tax fraud crime? It's the deadliest crime, and why the finance services hide the truth to the population, because people will ask for medical compensation claims and I sure will get the civil justice for entire human kingdom. Okay, $1,500 trillion is the cheapest medical compensation I can ask for myself, and it is the multitasking. Vices will know why I'm asking that much dollars, right? So all the civil justice must be served according to the Holy Bible guidelines only, where Pope Francis must resign immediately because he failed in being the leader of Vatican job. He failed in God job. He failed in absolute job, absolute monarch job. He failed in Pope job. He failed in Jesuits job. And he must resign immediately from the Vatican, and I must be the Vatican leader immediately, effective now and beyond. And that moment, entire human kingdom will be saved. Thank you all for your time. Take care. Bye for now.